Hello, everybody. My name is Terry Highland. I am the Community Relations Specialist for the Visiting Nurse in Hospice for Vermont and New Hampshire. And today we're going to talk a bit about advanced care planning and advance directives in the states of New Hampshire and Vermont. In times of COVID-19, we realize that this is an incredibly important issue and close to everyone's heart. And VNH did have a robust plan this spring to bring these presentations out and about in the world and get people aware of what they need to do for advanced care planning. But today we're going to bring it to you digitally, and I am privileged to have joining me two people from our psychosocial team. We have Supriya Shanti, our psychosocial supervisor, and Lori Menard, one of our medical social workers. And I'll let those two go ahead and introduce themselves now. Supriya, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Supriya Shanti, and I'm the psychosocial supervisor with the VNH. My staff of social workers are ready to assist you with your advance directives. I hope you enjoy our video and find it helpful.
Thank you, Supriya. And Lori, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lori Menard. I'm a medical social worker with the visiting nurses and look forward to supporting you.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for joining me. We're going to dive right in here. We have a beautiful slide deck to share about advanced care planning. So without further ado, let's bring that up and get started. So advanced care planning, it's about a conversation. And this is a conversation between the person who's filling out their advance directives and their agent and family members, anyone who may need to be privy to this information. So let's get started with that conversation now. So today's topics, we want to discover advanced care planning, what that means. It is the same in all of the United States. However, there are nuances between different states. What that means when you're discovering advanced care planning is you're choosing your healthcare agent. This person will be making decisions for you when you're unable to make them for yourself. We're going to explore experiences, and these are your life experiences. What are your goals for end of life? What were your goals during your long life? Your values, your beliefs, because those are going to reflect in the way that you fill out your advance directives. So it allows you to express your preferences. And then, of course, we need to share that plan with the agent, with your medical providers, with family, whoever needs to know. So it starts with a few questions, and Lori, go ahead.
So the most common question that I get asked is, why do I need advance directive? We're going to support you in understanding about advance directive care planning, what fears or concerns you may have about this type of planning. If you have completed your advance directive in the past, what is it that you hope that this document will do for you in the future? And lastly, have your wishes changed in light of the COVID-19 pandemic? Advanced care planning it's important for all adults to have in place. Thinking and talking about your future healthcare decisions if you suddenly have an event like a car accident or COVID-19 related illness, but you cannot make decisions for yourself. Choose a person who you trust to make these decisions for you. Could be your spouse, could be a child, could be a friend, but be sure that that person will understand your wishes. An agent should be willing to accept this role to support you with your wishes, talk to you about your goals, values, and your preferences, follow and honor your choices, even if they don't agree with them themselves, and be able to make the difficult decisions in a very difficult moment. Do you know anyone who could do this for you? The responsibilities of an agent may include making choices regarding your medical care, reviewing and releasing medical records, arranging for medical care and treatment, making decisions about living situations as healthcare needs change, deciding which healthcare providers can provide treatment to you.
Take a few minutes to explore your life experiences. Then think about if you're having a good day, what are you doing? Who are you with? Who are you talking to? What does a good day look like for you? Take time to explore your beliefs. What cultural beliefs do you have, if any, that might help you choose the care you want or you don't want? What spiritual beliefs do you have, if any? How would you want your agent to support you, that you get your needs met? Exploring the goals for care. Imagine this scenario. A sudden event, such as a car accident or illness, left you unable to communicate. You are receiving all the care needed to keep you alive. The doctors believe there is little chance you will ever recover the ability to know who you are or who you are with. That's something I want you to really think about. Your body would be functioning, but you would have no quality of life. So consider what your goals of care would be in this kind of circumstance. What would you want? Would you want to continue medical treatment, or would you want to stop medical treatment? In either case, you will be kept comfortable.
What is an advance directive? An advance directive, AD, is a written plan that indicates preferences for your future healthcare decisions to allow you to, 1, choose someone to make those decisions on your behalf, called the durable power of attorney for healthcare or healthcare agent, and 2, document your beliefs, wishes for future healthcare if you are unable to speak for yourself, which might be in a living will. An advance directive also is a legal document, but you do not need a lawyer to complete it. It does not become effective until a person lacks or loses decision-making capacity. This is determined by a physician or a nurse practitioner. Can be changed at any time and should be reviewed periodically, as addresses, phone numbers, those kind of things can change. The Advance Directive is a plan intended to guide loved ones and healthcare professionals in making treatment decisions consistent with your preferences. When it comes to advance directives, which ones should you use? People should complete an advance directive for the state of residence. So if you live in New Hampshire for 6 months and in Florida for 6 months, you should have one for each state. Advance directives are customizable, and pages from one state can be added to the forms of another state, but should always include your name, date of birth, and be signed and witnessed or notarized with the rest of the form. Advance directives are honored across state lines, up to the letter of the law in which you are being treated. So just to note, Vermont residents who complete Vermont advance directives are subject to New Hampshire laws if treated in New Hampshire. So if you go to DHMC, that is a New Hampshire hospital.
So now we're going to take a moment to review the actual advance directive, what it looks like. We're going to start with New Hampshire, and later in the presentation, you'll see the Vermont forms. And in New Hampshire, there's 3 specific rules of concern. And this is important because it's unique to New Hampshire. These don't apply to Vermont, and they're big power that can be placed here. So we'll start with number one, and that's that the healthcare agent can be authorized to agree a future DNR. Basically, what that means is if your healthcare agent has been activated, so you're already in a position where you cannot speak for yourself, that healthcare agent, that person that you've said can speak for you, can decide to sign a do not resuscitate order for you. The next thing is that the healthcare agent can be authorized to make treatment decisions over objection. This means that they can make treatment decisions for you if someone else that may know you better, your family member, or even yourself, if you're in a state where you've been determined not to be coherent, they can make those treatment decisions over you or that other person. In New Hampshire, that agent can also make the decision regarding artificial food and hydration, but it should be explicitly stated in the living will section, even if it's already been covered in the durable power of attorney for healthcare section. It would only be honored if it's specifically stated in the living will section of the New Hampshire documents. So when executing the New Hampshire Advance Directive, you need to have either a notary public or a justice of the peace, or if those people aren't available, 2 witnesses. There are rules about who cannot witness an advance directive. So the agent themselves can't be the witness, or the principal's spouse, and the principal is the person who's filling it out, or heir. So that could be a son, daughter, anyone who's expecting some sort of inheritance, or someone else entitled to a part of that estate. The other person can't be a member of your direct care team. So this can't be the attending physician, nurse, anybody who's directly providing care in either a hospital setting, a nursing home. They cannot be witnesses either. That's because all of these people just mentioned could potentially represent a conflict of interest, and they may not be indifferent when it comes to decision making. So now we're going to take a look at the actual form for the New Hampshire Advance Directive. Now, the New Hampshire Advance Directive form is 2 sections. It has a section for the durable power of attorney and the section for the living will. Now, we're not going to go through each one of these images in detail, but feel free to pause the video and take a better look at them. So there's the first form, which really has the principal's demographics and information on it. The second form here has to do with life-sustaining treatment. And so that means if you're near death and lack the ability to make your own healthcare decisions, you authorize your agent to do the following. And you do that by initialing on this page. The page that's entitled Explaining Your Instructions in More Detail, it gives you a bunch of blank lines at the bottom there so you can free text in specific wishes. That's a nice feature on the New Hampshire form. However, it can leave you scratching your head on what exactly you might want to put there. This is the part where the durable power of attorney signs. Because New Hampshire has that free text, we recommend that it might be a good idea to add the value statement page in from the Vermont Advance Directives. And we say that just because it uses checkboxes with some prompts. And those prompts can make it a lot simpler for you to explain what your wishes are. This is the part where the 2 witnesses have to sign, or the justice of the peace or notary public. And this is the living will section. This is the part where we said that you have to be expressly specific about artificial nutrition and hydration. And again, that part of the advance directives, which is separate from the durable power of attorney, this is the living will section, has to have 2 witnesses and or a notary public or justice of the peace. Now reviewing the Vermont Advance Directive. When executing the Vermont Advance Directive, a lot of the requirements are the same as New Hampshire. You need 2 adult witnesses. They can't be a spouse, the agent themselves, sibling, child, grandchild, or beneficiary, which again is very similar to New Hampshire. It's just laid out a little more specifically. However, what's different is that in Vermont, your healthcare professionals or providers, that means your nurses, your doctors, can be witnesses, unlike in New Hampshire. So looking at the first page of the Vermont form, again, demographics, filling out your information. And this form has to do with appointing an alternate agent. That meaning that if your primary preferred agent is unavailable, this would be the alternate. Again, more of the Vermont form. This has to do with what your healthcare goals are and your preferences for care. This is a particularly important page called Limitations of Treatment, and what that means is it explains how far you'd like to go in life-sustaining treatment. So if you're completely unable to speak for yourself and you're incapacitated, unconscious, do you want CPR? Do you want to put on a breathing machine if you can't breathe on your own, etc.? And Vermont does a pretty good job giving you some examples there with checkboxes, but of course you can free text there on the bottom if you have additional things that you want. And the part 4 has to do with organ donation. Part 5 is where the witnesses sign, and that gets us through the Vermont Advance Directive. So I'll hand it back over to Supriya for next steps.
Okay, here we show the next steps, and note that the social workers are available at VNH to help you. So give us a call anytime. Okay, then the next important steps for you are to give copies of your advance directive to your healthcare agent and healthcare professionals. Also, talk to your family and close friends. Let them know who your healthcare agent is and let them know your preferences. Keep a copy of your advance directive where it can be easily found. And think about if others need to find it, make it easy for them to find it as well. Take a copy with you if you're going to the hospital or a nursing home and ask for it to be put in your medical record. Because situations can change, review your advance directive periodically. Advanced care planning is a process, not a one-time event. Preferences may change as circumstances change. Review your advance directive every time you have a physical exam. And whenever any of the 5 Ds occur, these are good times to also review your advance directive. Every decade, every time the death of a loved one occurs, whenever there's a divorce, when you get a new diagnosis, and if there's a decline in your health.
So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I hope this was a helpful presentation, and I hope you have a newfound belief for the importance of advance directives, especially in this COVID-19 era that we're living in today. Remember, of course, VNH social workers are standing by and ready to help if any part of this is confusing or you feel you would like to fill it out with someone instead of on your own. The number at VNH is 1-888-300-8853, and you can ask to be transferred to Supriya, and she will help you, and the social work team will help you set up those advanced directives. Also, you can see there the websites for the 2 states where these forms can be found. Also, there should be live links wherever you found this video, but if you'd like to type them into your search bar now, it's healthynewhampshire.com for the New Hampshire forms and vtethicsnetwork.org for Vermont. Thanks again. This is Terry Hyland from VNH, signing off with Supriya, and thanks to Lori as well. And thank you guys for learning about advanced directives. Have a great rest of your day.